and welcome to the Ratchetdavo Podcast. It's going to be episode 8. I've got my brother Joe with me again this week, and whenever we can, we're going to try to get together and do the podcast together. I think I just enjoy it more having. I can do the podcast by myself, and it is what it is. But I think I enjoy talking to someone more. It's just more entertaining and fun, and people probably enjoy it rather than just listening to me ramble for 30 minutes or so. But yeah, we're on episode 8. Don't forget about the Ratchetdavo YouTube channel. I'm posting weekly videos. My latest video about my OBS K1500 project it has been live, and I've done 3 episodes on that. The 4th episode is not out, Joe. I know you know more information than the internet knows, so don't spoil anything.
I won't give it away, I promise.
But yeah, make sure you check that out as well. Got a lot of good feedback from that series so far. Everybody loves a good old step-side Chevy truck. Nobody hates them, so it's not too hard. But what's been going on with the 944 this week?
So the biggest update with the car, I guess, is that I'm starting to realize that the tune kit on the car currently, so it's not stock. In your previous video, you kind of went into that. It's got a crankshaft from a Porsche 968, and then it's got a Super 75 turbo, which is basically like I think it's a $1,400 turbo upgrade, dual port wastegate. It's got a lot of aftermarket stuff, injectors, stuff like that. But anyway, the tune kit that is basically 12 years old is when the tune kit was originally released. So it's not really running right. I actually just today heard back from the local shop down the road that my fuel pump is actually good. So I took the fuel pump down there because it wasn't turning on in my car. I could hear it, or lack thereof. I wasn't hearing it when I turned the key forward, and they tested it today. Tested all good, which means there's another issue with the car, which is not a good sign. So basically, to make a long story short, the car is probably about to get trailered, which it's only 2 miles down the road, but it's probably about to get trailered to this shop because they have several parts that they can start throwing on the car to at least get it to run, to try to troubleshoot to see what the actual issue is. And I'm fairly certain that it's an issue with the ECU, and it's not allowing the car to actually run. It will, until about 4 or 5 days ago, it would start, but it would not idle. So it would basically die right away.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of upsetting.
Dude, chasing gremlins down
what it
is frustrating.
Yeah.
So frustrating.
I did a bunch of research on what it could possibly be and did a lot of troubleshooting, thinking that maybe it was fuel pressure at the rail. But I was getting basically, the right thing at all the different places. And then once the fuel pump, I mean, everything is brand new for the fuel system. So I almost was positive that it was electrical. And so unfortunately, I think that is the issue. And they have a couple ECUs that they're just going to swap into the car, see if they can get the car to just run and idle.
Yeah.
That's not the end all be all, but I have been researching, I have been researching some more permanent solutions for the car, especially since I aspire for it to be a time attack car, or at the very least, a car that I can go thrash on for a full weekend at Road Atlanta, have a lot of fun, put some good laps down. Yeah. And I don't know if the current setup for the car, the way that everything is tied into this tune that's 12 years old, I don't know if that's going to be the permanent solution. Maybe I get a couple track days out of it. Maybe I don't, and I end up just swapping to a full standalone in the next couple months, but we'll see, and definitely keep you updated on it.
Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong with a full standalone, but I understand some of the budget aspect that you're trying to accomplish. You're not wanting to spend bukus of money if you don't have to, trying to make it happen. But the standalone is reliable and very track friendly, so that would be understandable too. So it is what it is.
Definitely is. It kind of sucks because I have put the last 6 months, I've put a lot of money and time into the car, hoping that by spring, I'd be in a position to where I could start getting it ready. I'd go to it. I was trying to do an autocross event next month, and then was really trying to do an event at Road Atlanta in June, but not sure if that's going to happen or not. But hopefully the shop can maybe clean up some things with it, find out what's actually going wrong. Maybe it is the ECU and they've got one that they can throw in there to make it work. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, I think either way it'll work out, but it might just take some more time. That is the name of the game in the automotive world. You wait on the funds to hit the bank account, and then you spend a little bit more money.
Yeah, pretty much. So tax return. I know tax return season is such a great time of year for car guys because they're always like,
it is. You know what?
Here's $1,000 or more to drop on the car, no questions asked.
It all just, we all just spend it right away for sure. I always owe on my taxes every year, so I don't know. I'm not savvy with taxes, so I don't know what boxes I'm checking, but I usually owe like a couple hundred every year. Nothing crazy, but
normally it's just kind of weird, and I definitely don't want to get into like the whole tax thing on here, but normally I always end up owing for some reason. Ever since I joined the military, I always owe the state money, which I don't. Now that I've moved over to Florida, this is the last year that I'll actually pay state tax, but I've always got something back federally, always. So
I've gotten back like 1 year, I think, federally as well. But nice. Yeah, I mean, if
it's probably your the employer not pulling out enough for like what bracket you're in. But
yeah, that's right. Speaking of which, I've started working at Wild Willie's.
Yeah, congrats on the new job. That's exciting.
Wild Willie's Custom Accessories, which is located on the same campus as Akins Ford and Winder. But they do all the aftermarket stuff, mainly on trucks and Jeeps, a lot of lift kits.
Yeah.
So on and so forth. But aftermarket stuff's better than crappy old commuter cars, I guess.
Oh, so. Yeah. I would much rather work on a off-road truck than a Corolla.
I really want to see them. I really want to see the shop itself of us all come together and build like a SEMA build and actually go to SEMA, because I think they would be down for it, besides like the actual money aspect of it. But the thing is, I think that they should almost like, because we have some of the big F450s come into the shop and leave with like lift kits and huge wheels and tires, which are a pain in the butt to work on in general.
Oh, I can only imagine.
But I think it'd be cool to have some crazy truck that goes to SEMA that Akins Ford can just sell later, put on their lot as like big SEMA truck, like a high dollar truck or something. I don't know. That'd be cool. I really just want to go to SEMA. It's selfish.
Oh yeah. Well, we were actually, funny you say that. We were actually supposed to go to SEMA in 2020.
I think
or was it the year before that?
No, we did plan on going to SEMA last year. I think last year, right?
No, that's right. Yeah, it was last year because
I don't know what changed.
We were supposed to, it was COVID.
COVID changed. That's right.
COVID happened. So we are actually going to go to, I think we're going to Denver. We were going to go to Denver to go to a Broncos game. And then we were going to fly down and meet you in Vegas for SEMA for 3 days.
That's right. We were trying to make a little loop around some of the West Coast. I know people that have gone to SEMA. I've never been able to go, and it's just for me personally is bucket list. No doubt it's on my bucket list that I just want to go and visit. So I know it's more for businesses and not really something that you personally like, but I don't know. It's more like
I know
all
that
businesses promote,
if you're a lot of YouTubers are able to get like
sponsored,
press credentials to
yeah,
to shoot
sponsored
video.
YouTubers. Yeah, they'll end up going because a company asked them to go. They might be like sponsored by like McGuire's, and then they'll take one of their cars to the McGuire's booth and have it, in the McGuire's booth or something. So,
Yeah.
or like they're sponsored by Inky Wheels or something, and they do whatever. But
Yeah.
regardless, it's cool. But I love,
Oh yeah.
I love everything about the SEMA and the goal to build a vehicle worthy of sitting on the showroom floor and everything surrounding that. It's something that I would wish I could have a vehicle that I could build or create and have it sitting on the floor. But I think that's far outside of even like a goal for me at this point in time,
Yeah, I don't
it's
think
just kind of like that's like a dream, not a goal, It's like, just something I think that would be cool. But either way, I really do want to get a SEMA.
I will say it is pretty cool to see like the people that rush these cars to SEMA, and then some people do like the after SEMA videos and break down the car and see like half of it was held together by zip ties, and
I've seen some people really get scrutinized when people start to get looking close up at some of the builds. Some people have gotten really scrutinized because it was like a piece of shit.
It was like a good 20-foot looker. And you're like, dang, that thing is.
And then you see
everything's sick.
You see the welds on it up close or something on the cage, and you're like, oh, okay, somebody put that together in their backyard. That's all right. Some people do. Some people do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think another one that we both want to do is Pikes Peak, which some people probably are like, because they've seen it a lot or whatever, but I've never been to Pikes Peak and I really want to go. And
I would love to do Pikes Peak. Yeah, that's actually something cool to talk about. Like, what are some big bucket list car related trips? And I know we've talked about SEMA. Pikes Peak has definitely been on there. The actual hill climb event, not just going to Pikes Peak.
And I think they have sort of like a DE day. Not really. They have like a time attack day you can do the Pikes Peak hill climb basically in your car.
Which is just crazy to think that they actually let people do that aren't actually professional racing drivers, because at the wrong, if you're going too hard in one spot, then you could go off.
Yeah, all I think about is that one Evo rolling down the side of Pikes Peak.
I think of that, and then I also think of when Ken Block took the unicorn, and he hung
right on the edge.
He hung the back wheel off the edge of
Climb
the cliff, and I was just like,
such a sick video.
It is so
that dude's
sick.
Nuts. Living my dream life.
He's
just sponsored by
follow him on social media, and he lives in Park City, Utah, which I actually stopped in on my way up to Alaska back in 2015 or whatever, 2016. And it's a winter wonderland. Like, he snowboards and has all sorts of like cool winter toys that are like custom built by his shop, and then he has all the other stuff.
He's definitely living his best life over there. He's done some cool stuff for sure. Let's see. I've been to a lot of tracks, obviously working with a bunch of race teams. I actually never got the opportunity to go to Laguna. I just never was able to travel out that far west. As far west as I went was Circuit of the Americas, I believe. So I never hit Sonoma. I never hit Laguna Seca or any kind of the west desert track.
I've literally never, I mean, I'm right there with you. I haven't been to any tracks outside of the state of Georgia. So, well, actually, I mean, driven.
Yeah.
I've been to VIR. But that's actually it. I haven't been to that many. I've never been to Sebring, which we were just talking about a second ago. And then, I just haven't been to Barber. You've driven to Barber. I've never even been there.
Yeah.
That's Barber. Actually about as close to from my house as Road Atlanta is. So I could, and New Orleans Motorsports Park too.
I like New Orleans. All I remember is there was like a B class Honda Fit that flipped at one of the back corners of Imola.
Gosh. Well, I've heard it's a pretty open.
It's very flat
runoff area, so you don't really.
It's flat, but I think they got a little excited on some of the tall curbing, and the little B class, tiny little, car that he scooped it, and I think two wheeled it, and it was just like whoop,
and it just went.
And then all I saw in the background was,
and it's probably so rigid with maybe had a cage or something. So
it was a full spec'd out B class race car. Yeah. That's what I remember about that track, besides like the front straight, the whole track being extremely flat, and passing the Saints Stadium on the way there. That's what I remember about that trip. But that was cool. We only did testing there. I think it's more of like a test track kind of thing.
Yeah, that's what I've heard too.
For bigger teams, and then probably like DE track day kind of stuff for the rest of it. So, but because it's kind of like AMP. There's not a lot of competition racing there for the most part. It's mainly track day stuff, chump car, which I know you've driven AMP, Atlanta Motorsports Park. So
a couple times. That's a really fun track.
Yeah.
Very technical. It's almost like, it almost feels like you're on a go-kart track. Like
ironically, yeah.
Set up.
They have an event coming up too. I can't remember what I saw it online somewhere.
Yeah, I believe they do just Track It or Track Night in America, maybe.
Yeah, they do those supercar experience driving, which I don't know why that's the track that they choose, because being technical, but there's really no wide open space to kind of open up a supercar on that track besides the front straight. So it's kind of like,
that's true.
I guess for somebody that's not used to driving fast.
I will tell you, after driving that track in a couple very slow cars, I do see how it would be like a GT3 RS would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even come close to its potential as far as speed, but
it's a well handling car, so it would be fun. Anytime you get on track, it's gonna be fun. It doesn't matter, but yeah, definitely. VIR, I think, is close to one of my favorite circuits in the country. Beautiful track.
It's an incredible facility. To
it's
go
like a
there
farm
and set up a camper out in the woods. It kind of reminds me of Road Atlanta as far as like the trackside stuff, but it's up near the mountains a bit more.
I just like, it's kind of like a farm. I don't know why. It's just like all greenery, and then a Porsche buzzes your doors or whatever.
And the trackside cabins that you can, or houses that you can rent.
Yes, I think that's one of my favorite things, is on the back turn near the oak tree turns. Yeah. There's a set of apartments that can be rented, or condos, I guess probably would be a better term, right on the track, and the balconies overlook the back half of the track, which is absolutely incredible. I remember when we went up there, one of our drivers rented one of those for a race weekend, and he invited us all over, and I was watching the sun go down, sitting on the porch, watching
the track, and you're like, this is
literally heaven. I was like, man, to have the money to be able to just like this be your view. And I can imagine that during an IMSA race weekend, the prices for one of those apartments has to be insane, or condos has to be absolutely insane.
Oh, absolutely. It's just insane. Do they actually do, I know they do IMSA, but do they actually, they still do a race there, right? It's like
every year.
6-hour race, or maybe not even, maybe like a 2-hour race.
No, it's longer than that.
Is it? I'm kind of curious at what the schedule is as far as
I'm looking at the schedule right now.
They took some races off the schedule last year for COVID.
You got,
they bumped a bunch of races back.
Sebring, March 17th. Mid-Ohio is May 14th. Detroit is June 5th.
Okay, the Belle Isle Grand Prix. I think
6 Hours of the Glen, June 24th.
That's always good.
Canadian Tire Motorsports Park is on the list this year.
Where is that?
So that's up in Toronto, Canada. I've been up to that track once.
That's right.
Yep. July 2nd, Lime Rock, and July 16th. Wow, that's like the two closest ones. Road America, love Road America. I think Road America is I'm hesitant in saying this, but I think it might be one of my all-time favorite tracks. I don't know if, yeah, it's just so iconic. The duration for a lot of these races is only 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Yeah. I don't know why. I don't know if they started bringing those races down in time a bit because of TV. Or
there's only a few events.
They try to televise the whole thing. Pretty sure.
Yeah, there's only a few events that actually are like this 12 hours of Sebring, 24 of Daytona, and 6 hours of the Glen are the longest races besides the Petit Le Mans, which is 10 hours at Red Atlanta.
Yeah.
So
such a good event.
Yeah, we will both be at the Petit Le Mans.
Yep.
So I always end up running into people that were like, I was there, and I need to try to like actually meet up with people. But
yeah, actually it was crazy. I ran into an old 944 buddy of mine.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And I just happened to like recognize him. And I was like, dang, I haven't talked to you in like 5 years. And he was in the Army or something and ended up getting out. But
yeah.
He was like, yeah. I was like, I haven't been to a Petit Le Mans event in like 5 or 6 years. And he was like, yeah, same here. This is the first time since like 2015. I was like,
yeah. It sucks when you have a big gap like that, when you miss events that you really want to go to. But hopefully, I can sneak away, coming. To that event at least for a little while. And I actually want to bring my son, who is our due date is a week from today.
Yep, just get him. I mean, he'll be 6 or 7 months by then. Just get him some like earmuffs.
A little baby earmuffs, and let him watch the race cars. So he's growing up with a car guy, so he's gonna have to learn the ways of everything cars.
Yep,
for sure. Totally switching gears from tracks to street.
Sounds good.
Before we talk about the Cannonball Run, because we were talking about it, and I just always want to talk about the Cannonball Run because it intrigues me so much. We did like a mini trip, and this trip kind of ran through my head earlier today, and that's why I brought it up earlier. But when you bought the Focus RS, we did like a mini Cannonball Run from Atlanta to Corpus Christi, Texas, which was pretty fun. But you,
that was a crazy trip, honestly.
Because I know we talked about the RS, but we never talked about the trip that we took immediately. Like, the time frame that you had to get back to Corpus Christi was very short, and so we were like, you bought the RS one day, and then the next day we were already in Texas.
I don't even remember why I had to mob back so fast. Maybe it was work. I think it was probably just work, and I probably didn't have a whole lot of leave saved up. But yeah, I remember I bought the car, and it was a 2016 Focus RS. I bought it obviously in 2016, brand new, had 7 miles on it. And then so I flew into Atlanta and got picked up, dropped off at the dealership. I believe it was a Friday afternoon, like probably 4:00. It was when I got to the dealership, and they closed at 5. So basically they had the papers ready, filled out. All I had to do was sit down, sign away my life. And then
for a Ford Focus,
paid 36 grand, no markup. I didn't pay over MSRP, but
I'm glad that it got there on time with all the shipping.
Yeah, I mean,
it got there on time.
It took a while to get it. I mean, I was tracking it all the way from Germany across, where it got in Jacksonville. The port of Jacksonville is where it actually got offloaded, and then it took another like 10 days for the car to get from Jacksonville to the dealership.
So many things can go wrong.
Yeah, the car is pristine. I told them basically they could fill it up with 93 only, And then I didn't want them to put any of the dealership stickers, tags, nothing. I didn't want any of that on there. I didn't even want them to like run it through a wash or whatever.
You didn't want a Jefferson Ford Motor Company sticker on the back.
No, I did not. But I mean, Jimmy Bailey definitely like.
Oh, they've always hooked us up.
He hooked me up, and I'll always refer people to Jefferson Motor in Georgia for that.
No, but I get it. Like I hate dealerships putting stickers on. I know why they do, but I hate it. Like I bought my truck and it had a sticker on the back, and I immediately like took it off. It just doesn't look good.
Yeah,
it's not something you keep on the vehicle or shouldn't keep on the vehicle.
What did the rest of that evening look like up until about 10 o'clock?
I'm not sure if you saw me until the next day. We went out to eat
because I found a picture on my phone of the RS, Austin's 2007 STI, and TJ's 2008 STI, and I think we ate at like a Mexican restaurant.
Was it the next day that you left?
I'm pretty sure. It was that.
Did we leave that night?
We left.
We drove overnight, and because we drove. I remember this now. It's coming back. It's coming back.
You better remember something really funny. And then,
what?
You're about to remember where we ate the next morning, aren't you?
It's honestly embarrassing that we drove into New Orleans at like 7 in the morning or 6:30 in the morning, and we stopped at Waffle House. At New Orleans, and there's so many local breakfast places, and we're just getting Waffle House and getting out.
We could have gone to
ate beignets
pre-COVID New Orleans and gone and get a beignets. Oh my gosh!
But we did. We overnight we switched back and forth, and overnight we drove. And by sunrise, we were driving into New Orleans.
Right.
By sunrise, yeah.
By sunrise, we drove into New Orleans. If you have that picture,
yeah, I can put it on top
of the video. You probably have better quality, but that picture was really cool because that was right outside like the French Quarter on the river there.
So it's a 7-hour. It's a 7-hour drive. From Atlanta to New Orleans. I googled it real quick. 470 miles to New Orleans. So we broke in the RS by the time we got to New Orleans.
Because I
had to hit the 500 miles mark.
I distinctly remember I had looked on the forums and everything. I didn't have to hit 500 miles to be considered break-in. The way they make vehicles nowadays, there's really like no break-in period.
Not really.
But I wanted to honor that because I was like, this is a very expensive car. It's a sports car. I mean, it was something I didn't want to drive spirited.
You want everything to settle in place first, so I mean, it doesn't hurt.
So I basically drove it.
But I'm pretty sure we boosted out of New Orleans. We hit that mark. Oh yeah. And we kicked it into high gear from New Orleans to Corpus Christi.
I remember leaving New Orleans and going up on the very large overpass, and it's
like a movie.
On the highway.
It's like
getting on the highway, and I just like we were probably going 130.
Fresh out of
New Orleans,
fresh out of Waffle House, and looking for the next.
That was, and the RS was by far. I mean, number one, it was by far the nicest car I'd ever bought.
Yeah,
definitely the fastest car I'd ever owned to date. And it was just sick. It had the overboost feature when you're up full throttle. It had launch mode, and it was just an incredible car. Besides the head gasket issue, but
it hit boost good.
It really did. The overboost feature when you were like had your foot to the floor was something that it just made the car really, really fun to go through the gears. But anyway, I definitely remember leaving New Orleans, and then we went straight from there to Houston.
Dude, I remember.
I think we swapped off. Because I was like, I don't really want to drive this thing for 20 hours straight. So I put you in the driver's seat.
Yeah. According to Google, it's a 15-hour drive, which it took longer than that for us.
Yeah, because we had to stop. We stopped.
It took us a little longer, but it is exactly from Atlanta to Corpus Christi. It's exactly 1,000 miles.
Yeah. So because that's what it was. Because I remember when David Patterson, aka that dude in blue, was reviewing the car. I basically told him, I was like, I had 1,000 miles on this thing in less than 24 hours of owning it, and he was like, "Holy crap!" And I was like, I drove from Atlanta to Corpus Christi, Texas.
Yeah, we cannonball styled that
the day I bought it.
We cannonball styled that overnight, and then it was that evening, I guess, short of a day that we were rolling into before sunset in Corpus. I think
I remember being just dead tired.
Dude, there's nothing more exhausting traveling. Like, I can imagine the people that do the actual Cannonball Run has to be so exhausted by the end of it.
Now I guess we're segueing into the Cannonball Run, but what's the time on?
I'll look it up.
The Mercedes. I know the Mercedes just broke.
Yeah,
the C63 AMG.
Somebody just broke the record. Well, somebody broke the record in a rental Mustang.
What?
They put a gas tank in a rental Mustang and broke the record. Like, they stripped a rental Mustang and then put it all back together and took it back like within 3 days. So for like $50 a day, it's a GT, Mustang GT.
So you can, as long as you document it, you could do the Cannonball Run literally whenever you feel like it. You just have to.
Yeah, it's an unsanctioned speed record. Typically from the run from New York City's Red Ball Garage to Portofino Hotel in LA. Distance is about 2,800 miles. So triple what we did almost. As of August 2020, the record is at 25 hours and 39 minutes with a top speed of 175 and an average speed of 110.
Average speed of 110?
Average speed of 110, yeah. But the Cannonball Run dates back to like the 70s. They were doing.
Well, there's a movie.
There is a movie,
which I didn't realize. But is it Burt Reynolds? No, not Burt Reynolds.
It's not. No, it's not Burt. No, I don't. I can't.
It might be Burt Reynolds.
It might.
Because I think it was around the same time as Smokey and the Bandit, and I think they did a Cannonball.
Maybe so. Maybe that's kind of how it came to be. Because Smokey and the Bandit technically was like a style of the Cannonball, if you would think about it. But there's been
because it was a Lamborghini Countach is what he did the Cannonball Run in.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, Richard Rawlings actually did Cannonball Run in 2007. With a black Ferrari 550 in 31 hours. There's been BMW M5s.
I mentioned that. So what do you get points deducted for like speeding tickets and stuff?
No, there's no point system. It's just
there's no point system at all.
You have to get A to B as fast as possible.
So just
because like you obviously
you can take any way. You can take any direction. You just got to get from there to there.
That's right.
Okay. But obviously people have studied this for years, so they know that certain highways are going to be higher speed limits.
Mercedes-Benz E63 was one of them. A CL55 two-door AMG was one.
Because those cars are meant for Autobahn, so they can literally maintain 100.
Those cars are averaging 100 to 105. And then honestly, the RS wouldn't be that bad, except I'm sure the top speed is limited to like
the top speed or 150. Yeah. No, I think the top speed is 162.
Yeah.
For that, I never hit the fastest I ever went was $140 or so. I think 142.
So this one is my favorite one. In 2020, I actually followed these guys, in this story. But they did it in a Audi S6 modified to look more like a Ford Taurus. Like they wrapped some of the lights and they put black wheels with silver hubcaps to make it look like a Ford Taurus Interceptor car.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So they had a brake light kill switch so that if they had to hit the brakes, they could flip the switch off, and when they hit the brakes, no lights would come up. They had radar detectors, laser diffuser, CB radio, roof-mounted thermal camera for night driving.
Good Lord. So they had two people. Does the same person have to drive?
He had he had, no, you can have a spotter. And the same person has to drive, though. I think.
They do? Okay.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
You can't have like a driver, navigator, or maybe a backup driver or something?
as far as I know, you have a navigator and a driver. I don't think you can rotate. I don't know if there's an official rule on that or not, but I've never seen people rotate before.
We have to say that at some point in our life,
I will do the Cannonball
we
Run.
have to do the Cannonball Run
Or try.
I don't even or try to do it. Whether it's whether we each individually take a car or we just hop in a car and split time, or one of us navigates, whatever. We have to do it.
I just want to do the route.
Just to say we did it. I want to, do that experience. That's like a bucket list thing.
Obviously, like the main modification is like a extra fuel tank in the trunk. Right. Everybody puts like a stupid big fuel tank in the trunk to limit how many times you actually have to stop for gas.
At this point, I want to put like a coffee machine in the back seat too, so we can just brew coffee, stay awake the whole time.
Anything.
Better hope you don't stop at Waffle House, because that's going to add at least 30 minutes to an hour to your trip.
Oh my God, that's so true. No, it's so hard to choose. Like for me, I keep thinking about like what car. It's so important. That's the whole purpose of the Cannonball Run, is like, what car do you think is capable of maintaining that high speed for that long of a time? And consistently foreign cars are doing it. The only other one that stood out to me was that rental Mustang GT, which he put a massive fuel cell in the trunk, stripped the interior, and literally just did the Cannonball Run solo, as far as I know. He might have had a navigator. I'm honestly not 100% sure.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So I see the post. I was just punching it in YouTube real quick, and it says fake cop car Audi S6 beats the Cannonball record.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they made it look like a Ford Taurus Interceptor. Dang.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Yep. So 25 hours, 39 minutes currently is and they're giving some credit to the coronavirus clearing up the roadways of traffic.
I mean, hey, that's
average speed of 112.
Golly. Audi S6. That's what engine is that? A V8 bi-turbo?
I can tell you here in a minute. It might be a V6 twin turbo. Check.
That's a pretty high speed to be averaging for 2,800 miles, which means you got to think
supercharged, a twin turbocharged, supercharged, and intercooled V6.
Twin turboed and supercharged.
Mm-hmm.
Good Lord.
Well, I'm clicking on what's the 2021, which I don't think they use the 2021, but
I'm not sure.
That's like I just put in Audi S6 specs, but it's right here. It's twin turbocharged, supercharged, and intercooled V6 aluminum block, direct fuel injection, 2.9 liters.
See, now that you say that, I'm gonna be like literally obsessed with watching Cannonball Run YouTube videos for like the next couple of days.
I know it's like important to be hush hush about when you're gonna do it and be like super low key, so that no law enforcement has the opportunity to jump on top of and proactively be out on that route.
Yeah, because if you think about it, you go by in a C63 AMG doing $150, and some stady is running LiDAR, and you're done.
You just made him drop his donut. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah, it's literally like it's like
oh crap! Put it in drive. And
I can only imagine the adrenaline rush of doing that, and then going by a cop and just putting your foot to the floor, knowing you just gotta try to outrun the radio, I guess, at that point. That's crazy.
Yeah. I'm sure there are people that you don't hear about that have gotten arrested trying to do the Cannonball Run, no doubt. There's no way that somebody hasn't got caught yet. But I know like law enforcement is slim right now, and it's probably not a bad time to really try it, because traffic probably isn't that heavy.
Traffic, yeah.
So
that was probably a big factor, because you definitely have to time, because I can only imagine like trying to go through like a bigger town, and there'd be like traffic somewhere. I don't even know.
Well, I think the importance of a navigator is huge, because looking ahead at construction zones, traffic, wrecks, getting on the Waze app or something, seeing if somebody reported a wreck and seeing if you can reroute yourself real quick to save some time. So
what an adrenaline rush. I mean, just trying to go as fast as possible.
You might want to just book a hotel in LA right afterwards, because I'm gonna freaking crash right after.
I would crash hard, and I don't even know if I want to drive back. It might be one of those things where I just take the car, sell the car immediately, or put it on consignment. If it's a nicer car, drive it straight to a good dealership, put it on consignment, and catch a plane back to the East Coast. I'd be
or just take a rest day and then just
Can you go either way, or do you have to go from
always
New York to LA?
Always New York to LA.
Not the other way. Okay.
So I don't know why, but going down seems.
I guess the tradition of
I think that's. You would want it to count, so I would do whatever it takes to be doing what they want. But it's an unsanctioned thing, so it's just kind of you plan for it, you go for it. You mark that time. It's
Well, I will ask this. Okay, so 2021 models being included, what would you want to do the Cannonball Run in? I will say, can't be anything, because then you could, I guess, keep it under a certain dollar amount. I don't know. Maybe just it could anything.
Because in your head, it's a Bugatti's not practical. The amount of gas, you can't put an extra fuel tank on it. You're going to go, you'll be empty within 50 miles at full throttle in that car.
That's crazy.
It's like a W16, how many turbos car. It's going to go through an insane amount of
quad
gas.
Turbos.
Yeah, just so I'm thinking more practically, as far as they did it so right with the German cars, because the top speed of those cars are insane. That's a good benchmark to be at. An Audi or Mercedes that can consistently do 170.
Yeah, and they're not
for long amounts of time.
And they're not insanely, they can be loud at full throttle, but if you're just cruising at 120, 130, it's probably just a very tasteful, rumble that goes by, as opposed to a Lingenfelter Z06 going by at 140 that shakes the ground.
Yeah. I kind of want to be different here, and the car that pops in my head, it would take modifications to make this car happen.
Okay,
but
that's dangerous game, talking about the Cannonball Run, meaning mods.
Yeah, well, everybody you have to mod it somehow, but I think the Dodge Charger could be capable of doing the Cannonball Run. No one has done it yet, but think about it. It's already a cop car.
Yeah. Okay, that's true.
So technically, a blacked out Charger could look like an unmarked cop car.
And you're talking at least an SRT8.
Well, I think the Hemi is capable and can hit. I can't tell you how I know this. But a Hemi without a tune is capable of 155 miles an hour. I can't tell you how I know that.
Yeah. So
but you can tune it and ungovernor it more, and I think it could do 165, which I think would be plenty. Maybe 170. I
would like to say that the gearing would be very, very important too.
Yeah. Which that's another.
I don't know what kind of
German cars probably have 8-speed autos and above.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
so I would say
Mercedes,
I would say you're probably right. Probably get one of the newer Chargers that has an 8-speed gearbox would probably be the way to go on that one.
Yeah,
but I think it's totally possible. I think just the RT.
I think you would
could
want
be enough,
Hellcat.
But I think an SRT8 or above, kind of Charger would do the trick more, because you have the right mods already kind of attached to being capable of handling that amount of speed for that amount of time. But in my mind, I'm thinking already kind of a cop car, put you some Steelies on there that look like an unmarked Charger, just make sure you get some better tires, obviously, and then put you a fuel cell in the back. You got all the seats that you need for all your equipment and stuff like that, and then just send it. I think it could be, it'd be fun.
It would be a lot of fun. And imagine you'd want to do your stops so quick.
and
because,
planned out. Yeah.
It's almost like you stop at a gas station. One person like runs in, uses the bathroom, grabs food. The other person's fueling.
Yeah,
and
or
then,
like just going to pee, just like going to the restroom,
Right, and just like make it just vice versa like that. It would be fun. It would be.
Now I know
like,
those
we have
people
to
had
do it
like
at some point.
Yeah, I know those people had like connections, like they were going for the record. So like they had people helping them at gas stations pump fuel. They had spotters in different states being like, "Hey, we're rolling through this state at this time. Could you just go ahead of us and let me know if there's any
See if
cops
there's
ahead
cops.
in that
See,
area?"
yeah, that's true. You
I
could
also have heard they had a buddy take one for the team and get pulled over for them. Like a buddy sped by a cop
before they came through.
Yeah, they had a buddy, saw a cop, sped up and got pulled over by the cop, got a ticket, but they were able to buzz by. No lie. He like took one for the team for the record.
So wait, how did that play out? While they're on the traffic stop, then they fly.
I don't know if they were able to like time it that well, but I guess that cop like was like, all right, I got my ticket in, and he booked it off the highway and went to his little crevice of the whatever. But
yeah,
it's like I don't know how that happened. I feel bad for the guy that took one for the team. I don't know what speed he had to go to get that cop's attention.
Imagine if you got like a $500 ticket just for that.
I would hope that those people that are doing the Cannonball Run would be nice enough to, pay my ticket for me, but
yeah.
No hopes of that happening.
That would be insane. Yeah, I could definitely see Dodge Charger, like a Hellcat or like an SRT8 Charger.
The only thing I'd be worried about,
tastefully modded, would be
the gas consumption on the V8 is going to be bad. That's the only.
It would be bad.
That's the only con of that. But that guy did it in the 5.0 Mustang, so it's totally possible with a big enough fuel cell. I think an extra fuel cell.
Yeah.
So anything's possible. You might just have to make one or two more stops than some other cars, maybe that don't burn as much gas. But I think that's a very obtainable car at a,
Oh yeah,
but
for sure. I mean, that's better than the C63 is going to be double that price, I think.
Yeah, for sure. What about you?
I don't know, man. I feel like I would want to do it in a Porsche of some kind. I feel like, now bear with me, but just because of the space and like you could put another fuel cell, because of the limited trunk space for Porsches, I think a Panamera Turbo or a 4S or one of the higher end Panameras, and then because it does have that massive back end with the trunk, I feel like you could put a fuel cell back there. But it's also going to be they're extremely fast. I mean, I don't think you would have any problems like just holding 120, 130 on the highway.
No.
Very, very
Those
comfortable,
like cruising speeds,
state of the art interior with incredible like heated seats, cooled seats. So it'd be comfortable. You would be able to have the fuel mileage and the fuel cell in the back, but it would still be a Porsche, and they are heavy. But so I don't know what the mileage.
All the 4-door German.
It's not gonna break a record. But
it's not about weight reduction though. In those cars, honestly, it's not about weight reduction.
Yeah.
So, like you want some of the comfort factor.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Panamera, but I think if I was going to try like something like a Cannonball, I would want to have something extremely comfortable.
Yeah. Now, but car I didn't even think of, the Mazzi. The Maserati that we had.
That's true. That actually wouldn't be too bad. I don't know.
I mean, that Mazzi, I can't say I know the speed of it, but it could do 140, 150, no problem.
Yep.
And it had room to breathe. So
it did have room to breathe, and that wasn't even like the Gran Turismo S or anything. That was the Ghibli.
The Ghibli Sport, yeah, or a Ghibli that was converted to a Sport, basically.
Yeah.
But no, I think you're on something though. With the 4-door Germans or European cars seem to do really well in that kind of aspect because they build their cars for the Autobahn, like you're saying, like for like I don't know, just the wheels, the tires, the hubs, everything is capable of handling that speed for longer. I don't know. It's like it's just
Yeah.
seems to go a lot better.
I just think it would be, for some reason, I just think it would be fun to do that in like a wagon, like a the Panamera,
like an Audi A4 Avant kind of thing.
Yeah, just because
like
you
the
can fit,
RS6,
because
the new
so
RS6.
much, yes, the RS6 would be probably like on that same level. That would be really fun.
That would be sick for sure. I feel like I could talk about the Cannonball forever. Unfortunately, my bedtime is actually approaching.
Yeah, so yeah, for sure.
But no, we definitely got to do the Cannonball Run at some point in our lives. We gotta. I don't care if we switch off back and forth between driving and navving. You know, I just want to accomplish that in a reasonable time frame and have fun and go fast.
Yeah.
And hope for the best.
That's what it's all about, because that'd just be, I mean, you're not stopping anywhere for long, like once you get there, but it would just be like so cool to experience that whole, like, especially like driving through the night. And because I mean, let's say we're lucky enough to get to 30, 31, 32 hours. I mean, that's almost a day and a half. So I mean, you're going through, if you leave at night, to try to, get that first third of the trip out of the way, not during the daylight, then you're going to be driving at night again. So it's like a lot of that trip is driving at night and just freaking putting the hammer down and just looking at the radar detector and slowing down as fast as possible. That's the one thing I can imagine doing 140, 150, and then you see a blip on your radar detector scan or whatever it is, and then you just gotta slam the brakes till you hit 80 and just hope you don't get pulled over.
Yeah, that definitely, it's risky, but that's all right. It's worth it.
Yeah, for sure.
But no, thank you for coming on the podcast again. We'll try to do it again every week that we can, for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. So sounds great.
And thanks y'all for listening, and look out for the next few episodes here.
Drop a sub to the Ratchetdavo channel.
Hey, appreciate the plug.